So for this recorded discussion will be about Indonesia. So first, this video is playable in YouTube, so you can just search on it. And this is another hyperlink. You can also, I think this is a good video about the latest or anything about Indonesia. So about Indonesia, the video provides just a comprehensive look at Indonesia's geography, diverse ethnic groups, and its role in Southeast Asia. What's fascinating about it? I think its feat is in their national language. The government successfully promoted Bahasa Indonesia despite having 100 languages. Bahasa Indonesia was promoted as the unifying tongue without erasing local identities. They have the largest Buddhist temple, they have the Ring of Fire, they have a good biodiversity. So for those who is really into or enthusiast in geography, it is like a living it is worth studying. Like it is like a laboratory for them. They also have the Komodo dragon. So again, what is worth reflecting on Indonesia having 17,000 more of islands and hundreds of ethnic groups. How could they maintain the nation or maintain a single national identity? They have principles such as belief in one God, social justice, democracy, to provide something common for all. And they also cannot favor one language of the largest ethnic group, or else others might feel ignored. Another is, if we are going into its historical perspective, the shared experience of Dutch colonialism to forge the national identity, just like in the Philippines, they have struggled for independence. They they gave the island common enemy, and of course, just like the struggles, they have shared hero narrative. Mrs. Jenny in December. Um, the story delves into the idea that Mrs. Jenny perceives every month as December, which symbolizes her unique way of viewing time and life. This perspective challenges the conventional notions of scheduling, planning, because she wanted to emphasize the importance of living in the moment rather than being bound by rigid dates. Just like her disregard for specific dates suggests that she lives in a perpetual state of nostalgia or longing. Or December, as a metaphor, she perceives every month as December, her unique outlook on life. Because December, it can represent endings, transitions, making it a fitting motive for the story about transformation. It it also suggests an internal cycle as she views time again differently from others. Marriage and success. Considers marriage as not a success. Her marriage didn't end well. She didn't stay with her husband, they parted ways. Her decision was influenced by societal norms and age related pressures rather than genuine affection. So, again, this perspective challenges the conventional idea of marriage as a lifelong commitment and questions whether societal expectations should dictate our choices. That's why you can see you may see women in their 30s, in their late 30s, still not, they are still single because they have enjoyed the life of being a single. So they are now trying to challenge the traditional or conventional notions that if you are in the late 20s, you should start a family. Identity and diversity. Explore identity amidst diversity. So, Mrs. Jenny's unconventional perspective on time in marriage contributes. By examining her emotions and dialogues, we can gain insights into her identity and the complexities of human relationships. Makeup. Makeup as identity. Her artistry goes beyond aesthetics. It reshapes people's appearances, symbolizing how external beauty can mask inner identity. So this raises a question about authenticity and self-perception. Bride. Of course, we have the makeup artist Jenny, Mrs. Jenny, as the artist, and her bride will be the blank canvas. So her brides undergo extreme changes, hinting at how societal expectations mold individuals, especially women, into idealized versions of themselves. So if you are going to be a bride, what could be your preferred look? Do you want to be as natural as possible? So somehow it can give off um, like your natural beauty will stand the test of time, just like the poem. Or you want to be a really another version of yourselves at that it really changed your face. And we have the literary approach, formalism, where we simply just focus on the structure and literary devices within the text. So again, Mrs. Jane in December invites us to question societal norms, consider alternative viewpoints, explore the multifaceted nature of human emotions because of the transformation that her artistry is not just about physical transformation, but also about the emotional and cultural significance of marriage in society. Only in poetry. So the poem is born out of a challenging experience. The speaker draws a parallel between the creative process of poem making and a long, lonely day of a typical farmer. So the poem reminds that even in difficult circumstances, creativity can flourish, just as the farmer toils. For the poet's labor is to express emotions and experiences. So the intersection of nature, labor, and the elusive nature of the poet's fate or a farmer who persists despite adversity. Poetry is a testament to human endurance and the ability to find beauty even in hardship. That's why I always tell to other people if you are in high emotions, you are so lonely, you are in a depressing state, or you just came from a broken relationship. Why not channel it, project it, write it down your emotions, what you feel at that time, because it will lessen the burden because you have channeled out from yourself. It is your poem or what you have written is a testament of how you endured that negative emotions. And that result poem to find the creative process of how you write the poem, even during hardship. Maybe if you successfully written or maybe edited some of the parts of your poem, maybe you can post it and with the help of the AI voice, you can edit so maybe it will be uh, it will be popular among those people who have shared experiences. Heaven and earth symbolism, heaven, inspiration, transcendence, and the divine. Earth, grounded earthly aspects of life. So, heaven, we have the intangible aspects of poetry, while earth is the the tangible, like intangible aspects and the tangible, maybe the tangible aspects, the everyday experiences, the sweat of the farmer, the toil in the rice fields, and this suggests that poetry emerges from the intersection of this realm. Adam was expelled from paradise as he is searching for eternal. It is like the search for, again, eternal, the part of expulsion. It touches on a universal human search that the poet is depicted as an eternal wanderer who knocks on door after door but never finds rest. Life's challenges and strength implies that life is not easy. It presents challenges that we must overcome. Just like the farmer faces adversity, so do we all. These challenges serve to strengthen us and make our life interesting. Life's difficulties contribute to our growth and resilience. That's why I always reiterate to some people that some basic subjects like ethics, understanding the self, you have to know the foundation. How will you be able to deal with yourself? Given that you have known different concepts of self, different concept of bad and good, it will contribute to our growth and resilience. So here, appreciate the creative process. Find inspiration in challenging experiences. Or here, recognize the interconnectedness of heaven and earth within poetic expression. Iron fingers of time. I think this is in the in the fifth stanza. It refers to iron, then time. It is like the impossibility to stop the passage of time, or restless or uncertain, because poetry as an art form captures moments, emotions, preserving them beyond the constraints of time. So as we can reflect on how poetry impact our lives. Literary approach, reader response. So this approach again focus on how individual or the readers interpret and engage with a literary work based on personal experiences, emotions, perspective. So our personal interpretation of it, um, the poem may suggest that poetry is a medium for expressing emotions, experiences that may be difficult to articulate in everyday life. We might have a deep appreciation for literature. We might find this idea relatable, as poetry again often resonates with personal struggles and triumphs. The imagery of farmers working in the fields may evoke different emotions depending on the reader. So, someone familiar with the agricultural life might see it as a reflection of perseverance, while others may interpret it as a metaphor for hard work and dedication in any field. And the poem's reference to heaven and earth can show or symbolize the slow unveiling of meaning, which can be interpreted differently by each reader. It might be spiritual journey or a reflection of life's complexities. So again, the poem is about struggle, resilience, that it can inspire us to reflect on our own hardships and how poetry can serve as a form of solace or understanding. The birth of a poem. So, this is a reflective piece that explores the creative process behind poetry. The poet's struggle to transform thoughts and emotions into words. So, the poem delves into inspiration, artistic struggle, the power of language. So, the imagery of birth. It described the birth of night. I think this is it symbolized as a pregnant entity. It gives birth to the poet's creative seed. The child representing the poem is a thrust into existence, much like a newborn. Motherless bastard. Um, the poem refers to the poem itself as a motherless bastard and suggests that poetry doesn't have a conventional origin and lineage. It emerges from the poet's innermost self, untethered by traditional norms. So it suggests that once a work is created, it is detached from the creator and carries its own suffering or weight or own inherent weight. The first scene, the poem bears the first scene on its brow. Like the scene could symbolize the inherent imperfection of creation or the vulnerability of self-expression. It's a burden that the poet willingly carries. Emotional depth, the poem's cry declares hunger. Like these emotions are woven into its fabric. Like the poem often emerges from intense feelings, and the poet's soul pours into every line. Kiss the ground. So the final urge the reader to kiss the ground, acknowledging suffering as the source of creativity. The ground represents life's struggle, the very soil from which poetry grows. So, overall, the poem invites us to appreciate the creative process, recognizing that even pain and struggle contribute to art. It's a celebration of the poet's inner journey and the birth of something profound. A literary approach, the constructionism. So, questioning the stability of the meaning within a text because the poem contrasts inspiration versus struggle, clarity versus obscurity, creation versus destruction. Again, the constructionism that those binaries are unstable, meaning that inspiration can lead to struggle, clarity can emerge from obscurity. So the poem's imagery and metaphors invite multiple interpretations, reinforcing the idea that meaning is not fixed. So this approach disrupts fixed interpretations, encouraging us to see poetry as an evolving, unstable form of expression. So the difference between the two poems earlier. So only in poetry, about transformative power of poetry, that poetry allows individuals to shape their future despite life's uncertainties. The poem reflects on hardships, resilience, poetry as medium through which people can express their struggles and aspirations, like the search for meaning in nature and fate. While in this poem, it focuses on the creative process of poetry, like poem making to giving birth. Suggests that poetry carries the experiences and emotions of its creator, allowing readers to engage with those feelings as if they were own. So it is like the agony and burden of artistic creation. So again, the earlier only in poetry as a means of overcoming life's challenges, while the birth of poem sees poetry as deeply personal creation that embodies the poet's experiences. But still, both poem both perspectives highlight the profound impact of poetry on human life.